Hello besties, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing well. Today we are going to run down through my June reading wrap up. I know I am extremely late, 4 days late, 5 days late. Okay. Now, I am very lazy and don't want to take all of my books out, so I'm just gonna put pictures up here. For the month of June, I did read a total of 7 books, which is not typical for me. Usually, I am a little bit of a slower reader, but this month I was having a blast with audiobooks because I read a total of 6 audiobooks. That's right, almost every book that I read this month was an audiobook except one. So let's get into the stats. I read a total of 7 books, 3 that were thriller, 3 that were romance, and 1 that I honestly don't know how to categorize. So I'm gonna categorize it as suspenseful. I did read 6 audiobooks and 1 Kindle/physical. I did read a total of 2,784 pages. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Month, I started off with Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Now, this book I was so excited for. I had heard virtually nothing, and the premise of this book just sounded so intriguing. We are following this young author who has published a book, but her book doesn't get as much as attention as her friend's book, which her friend is this big hotshot author. Everything that she publishes just becomes big. So one night, her and her friend are having a nightcap, I guess that's what you would call it, just like drinks at home, and her friend suddenly dies. Now, before she dies, she tells her about this new book that she is in the works that nobody knows about except now her. Before calling the police and getting them notified, she steals manuscript for her friend's new novel. She does go ahead and publish it under her. Now, this novel does start to become very popular, very famous. We're just following her journey along with that, especially since this novel about Chinese workers. Really get to dive into her brain and all this drama that starts happening, whether or not a white woman should be writing about Chinese labor workers, the spiral that she kind of goes through. Now, I had such high hopes for this book, but it fell flat for me. Very intriguing the first couple of chapters, then it fell flat in the middle, and then there were some parts where you would kind of get excited, but no matter what, the main character always chose the wrong thing. She never chooses any logical decision. She is just a mess. And it was intriguing in some parts, but very small parts. I just felt underwhelmed by this book, and for that reason, I gave it a 2.5. Definitely a book that midway I was thinking about DNFing, but your girl can't DNF to save her life, so I kept on trucking along. After reading Yellowface, I kind of wanted to get a more like summary read, so I read The Paradise Problem by Christina. Now, this book is the epitome of a summer rom-com, and I ate it up. We are following Anna, I believe her name was, and Liam. Now, Anna happens to marry Liam out of convenience while they are at college to get cheaper housing. Well, fast forward a couple of years after they have graduated college, and she thought that she signed divorce papers and that she was good to go. Well, turns out they are not. When Liam comes knocking at her door, asking her to please go with him to his sister's wedding because they are not divorced and his family still thinks that he is married to her. She has to pretend like she is this perfect trophy wife that has been married to him for over 3 years in order for him to get his inheritance. Now, this was hilarious. Anna, our female main character, is such a funny, silly goose. Even her thoughts, it's just She's hilarious. She really made this book funny. She is the most genuinely funny FMC that I've read about in a while. She even references Twilight, and I loved it. I ate this book up, like I said before. I did give this a 4 stars. I think this is my first Marriage of Convenience book that I've read. I can't believe that I haven't read more because I thoroughly enjoyed it. After the Paradise Problem, we had a little bit of a release date, which I had to get on top of immediately. Caught Up by Neveza Allen came out, and I couldn't wait a second longer to pick it up. Caught Up is the second book in the, I honestly don't know what it's called, so editing me just put up the name of guess of the series or trilogy. Following Junior, which is Allie's cousin from Lights Out. Now, if you guys have not read Lights Out, what are you doing? Anyways, we are following Junior and you guys, I forget these people's names so easily. I can't for the life of me remember her name. Once again, editing me, put it up here somewhere. Has been in love with his entire life since they've been in high school. Now, he did something pretty messed up to her when they were in high school because her father threatened their relationship. Now, after a couple of years have gone by, he is finally trying to make his way back into her life. She is guarded, walls up. She does not do with him because of what he did to her while they were in high school. However, the body can't deny a sexy man like Junior. So little by little, she starts trusting him again. And when I tell you, I love their dynamic. And I love how Neveza Allen added such activism for sex workers, and I love that. I feel like it's a very reverse roles. In Lights Out, he was the quote-unquote sex worker, even though he really technically wasn't. While here in Caught Up, she is the one who is into sex work, and I love the positive outlook Neveza Allen writes towards sex work. Is down to its core dark romance, mafia romance. It is not as rom-commy as Lights Out was. However, it is still very funny due to our FMC being once again a hilarious girl. I did see a lot of people on social media struggling with that concept of it not being as funny as Lights Out or as rom-commy. But nobody can compare Junior to Josh from Lights Out. Junior is a very typical alpha and mafia dark romance boy, while Josh is just a cinnamon golden retriever of a man that we love and we stand. After I read it, I did rate this a 4 star. I loved it. I enjoyed it. The audiobook is Teddy Hamilton, and now that is my man. It was great, and I loved what Neveza Allen did for it, and I cannot wait for her third and final book in this series. After Caught Up, I did jump into my thriller era, where I just read thrillers back to back. Pretty much. Started with Never Lie by Freida McFadden. Now, Never Lie, we are following a couple who has recently gotten married and they are looking for a new home. So they go in search of this home, but while they are on their way to see a house, they get caught up in a blizzard. Now they happen to get caught into this blizzard right as they are arriving to this house. So now they have to pretty much get out in this house. It's literally just them two. When all of a sudden these eerie type of things start happening. And the wife also discovers tapes of a psychologist that used to live in that home 4 years back before she disappeared. I feel like that's literally all I can say without spoiling anything. This book had me hooked from the beginning, and the entire time I already thought I knew who it was. The entire time I was like, this, I know who this is. I know who did it. This is ridiculous. I already know. Why do I need to keep reading it? I, in fact, did not know. The end caught me in the biggest surprise because Miss Know-It-All over here really thought that she knew where that book was going. Not even a little bit. This was very intriguing to listen to. It literally felt like I was there with them, and listening to these tapes was very entertaining. I gave this a solid 3.75 stars. It's one of the higher rated Freida books for me. After Never Lie, I started The Perfect Divorce, which is the second book to The Perfect Marriage. This book, was I intrigued? Yes. I finished this book in one sitting. I literally turned it on and cleaned my house until it was over. We are pretty much following Sarah Morgan, which is our first FMC in The Perfect Marriage. And now we continue to follow her story. And I feel like that's all I can say since this is a sequel to The Perfect Marriage and I don't want to give anything away. I feel like the entire time I knew in the back of my head what was going to happen. So it didn't come as a shock to me. I feel like Miss Jeneva Rose did put in a lot of filler to kind of confuse you. But at the end of the day, I felt like it very closely resembled The Perfect Marriage. Saying that, I don't think it was bad at all. I was invested while I was reading it. But as soon as I finished it, it was just a little bit lackluster. It wasn't as thrilling as I thought it was going to be. There wasn't as many twists and turns. And even where there was a twist, I was kind of like, yeah, duh. For that, I gave it a solid 3 stars. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't something memorable that I'm going to say that's my all-time thriller. Absolutely not, but it wasn't bad. After that, I kept going with my little thriller kick. Started The Tenant by Freida McFadden. Now, that is a fairly new book from Freida, which comment down below, which is your favorite Freida book? I feel like I've read about 4 or 5, and mine always ends up being The Housemaid, but you guys let me know down below. With The Tenant, we are following a man who recently gets fired from his job, needs to rent out a room in his newish home so that he can be able to make a mortgage payment. Now, he does live with his fiance, so him and his fiance start interviewing for tenants to move into this room. After many horrible interviews, he finally finds a girl that stands out, that is pretty normal, that he thinks is okay to move into this house. So after she does move in, a lot of interesting things start happening and a lot of very inconvenient things start happening. And we kind of just follow that journey. Once again, with thrillers, I feel like I can't really get into it because my mouth will spoil stuff even though I don't want to. This is the book that kept me the most entertained. I was at the edge of my seat this entire book. I kept changing. I was like, no, it's this person. No, it's this. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. Newsflash, I was not right for any of it. I really need to stop thinking that I'm on Criminal Minds and I can solve things. But throughout this entire book, I really thought I had it down. And nope, not once was I correct. This book had me hooked from the beginning. It gave me whiplash like no other, but in such a good way. The ending completely got me. I never saw that coming. I did give this a 4.25. It was one of the best Freida books that I have read. And for anyone who says that it isn't, because I have heard some views online that are saying people that don't really like it, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. This is one of her best works, honestly. Hey, and last but certainly not least, I read Redeeming 6 because I just wanted to be heartbroken, apparently. No, I'm just kidding. It's literally because I kept seeing everybody releasing 10, and I said, girl, you need to hurry your butt. We need to read Releasing 10. I'm just going to start by saying this. This is the 4th book in the Boys of Tommen. My entire soul goes out to Joey and Aoife. They are my favorite couple so far. I know there's only been 2, but so far they are ingrained in my bones like no other. I love these two. I see so much of myself in Aoife that it's not even funny. The way that I have sobbed and just given my all to this book, this is Infinity Stars. Literally God tier. There's nothing that could beat out these books. They are amazing. They hurt, they're powerful, they're devastating, but they're beautiful. I don't think that I could rate this anything other than Infinity Stars. These characters are ingrained in my brain forever. There's not been a moment this month that I have not thought about Aoife or Joey, and they are my new holy grail couple. As soon as I finished Redeeming 6, I wanted to start the whole series all over again. So it's definitely a series that is going to be one of my God tier series that I will never ever forget about, and it's just going to be ingrained in my soul, and everything I do is for Boys of Tommen. And that's my little spiel on my new obsession. So those are all the books that I read for the month of June. Let me know what was your favorite read in June. But until next time, bye!